There are some real challenges and some solutions for rideshare drivers. Hi, my name is Levi, and this is the Tip You in the App Daily Drive. Today's Daily Drive is brought to you by Rideshare.tax. Don't wait for 2025. Get started on your taxes today. And the Daily Drive is brought to you by VOOM Rideshare Insurance.
No, right here.
Right here?
Yes.
Hey, be well. Take care. Thank you, Edgar. Be well. Take care.
This is for you.
Oh, gracias. Thank you. Yep. Twice. Be well. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I want to list out to you some things that I think are real challenges and problems for rideshare drivers. But I also want to give you 5 solutions to those problems. And I have a bonus solution at the end of this video. First and foremost, it's a bad economy, right? Let's take a look at it. I know that we'll see stock markets are up and the job things are down or whatever it is. But if you're a low income or a middle income person like me, a rideshare driver, it's hard. It's hard out there. And what does that really mean for us, though? Let's talk about economics. A bad economy means there'll be less people potentially looking for rideshare, less people ordering an Uber or a Lyft. Cool. So demand is down. However, that also means there'll be more people like you and me out there looking to catch or to become a driver, I should say. Right? So supply of drivers is up. All that means is when supply is high and demand is low, prices drop. That's why we're getting so little on each and every fare. And that leads to my second thing, which means it's easy to become a rideshare driver. And there are more drivers out there than there ever have been. When you think about it, all you need is a license and to pass a very basic background check, and you're in. And it's not too hard to work. And you get to control your own time. The things that you and I like about being a rideshare driver, that's not exclusive to just you and me. A lot of people like those same things, flexibility, the freedom. And if you just need to go out and make a couple $100s on a week, rideshare might be the best solution for you. So there's so many drivers out there and it's easy to become a driver. Again, further increasing supply. And don't get me started on the whole idea of renting a car. There's so many people out there with rental cars as rideshare drivers. It really, truly affects supply and demand for us. The third thing, probably the most obvious, the thing that you and I have seen the most of, is that Uber and Lyft are trying to make a profit. And that's a good thing. However, the way they're doing it is really a challenge for you and me. First and foremost, they're raising prices on the passengers. So the passengers are already feeling it, right? Then they're not passing that increased revenue, right? The apps, they're not passing that on to you and me. So we're making less on every single ride. It's really hard. So there's more drivers, less people looking for rides. Ubers and Lyft are increasing the prices, yet you and I are not making that kind of money. That's really frustrating. That leads me to the fourth thing, rising costs. In addition to not getting paid as much as we used to get paid, and now there's more drivers, it's really a challenge. It costs more money to fill up the tank, get electricity, get your brakes done, whatever it is, it's more expensive. So we're being squeezed all across the board by rising prices, less money. It's really hard. And that leads me to the fifth thing. A lot of drivers are taking dangerous risks. Safety. It's such a huge thing for me and with rideshare industry. We see the news and we see drivers being robbed, killed. That's a big danger. But potentially even more realistic in terms of danger is just you and me taking risks, unnecessary risks, all to earn just a few extra bucks. Let me give you some examples. Driving faster between rides. That's a risk because we think that the faster we go, the more rides we can do, we can make more money. But there are speed limits and there are safety things that we need to think about. Like when the light turns green, not immediately hitting the gas. But sometimes we're having to drive longer now. So what I used to do in 8 hours now takes me 12 hours to do to make the same kind of money. As we drive longer, it's unhealthy and we make maybe worse decisions. We maybe go into neighborhoods we wouldn't normally go into or take trips we wouldn't normally take, all to make a few extra bucks. And all these things are a huge health and safety concern for rideshare drivers. Okay, that's the bad news. Let's talk about maybe the good news, or at least ways we can address and mitigate these challenges. The first thing I recommend you do is master the craft, the profession of being a rideshare driver. Become a professional. No longer can you make money if you just get in your car and go. You need to start having a plan and a strategy each and every time you drive on where you're going to drive, what trips you're going to take, all in order to maximize your revenue and minimize your expenses. Drive like a professional, drive smoothly. There's so many things that you can do to become a professional driver. Act like it. That's one way to ensure you don't make bad decisions, whether it comes to safety or taking bad, unprofitable trips to maximize your revenue and profitability. And when it comes to profitability, number two is we need to pinch our pennies. Be really smart about how much money you're spending to be a rideshare driver. Pinching pennies doesn't mean necessarily being, let me rephrase that. Pinching pennies is about finding ways to save as much money as possible, finding the cheapest gas that you possibly can, cutting your expenses. Don't pay for SiriusXM. When you go out and buy a different car and a new car for rideshare, buy the most affordable car you can. Uber and Lyft aren't paying you more for having a nicer car, so don't waste your money on it. There's a lot of things that you can do to pinch pennies to make money. And let's be honest, Uber and Lyft are pinching pennies to make money. They used to charge $10 for a ride. Now they're charging $10.15. And they used to pay you $7 for that ride. Now they're paying you $6.45. Well, those pennies in between the differences are how they're making their money. And they do that time and time again. You are a business owner. Act like it. Be a professional driver and watch where your money's going. That's a great way to help increase and maintain your profitability. So having a strategy and a plan is great, but don't sacrifice your safety. And that's number three. Safety is by far the most important thing. If you're dead or if you're hurt or if you're injured, you can't drive. You can't make money. So don't sacrifice safety. There's just no excuse for it. You could see $1,000 surge and be like, I'm going to go make $1,000. But if you do that at the risk of your safety, that's foolish because you don't need $1,000. You need a lot of money. There's a lot more money to be made out there in your life. So don't sacrifice safety. Get a dash cam, have things like what I do, like a fake wallet, a secondary type of way to communicate. I have that on my watch. Be safe, drive the speed limit. Don't risk your life is all I'm saying. Okay. The fourth thing is by far my favorite thing. Increase your tips. I know people are anti-tipping culture right now. It's really hard to make money, especially through tips. They've already paid a lot for this trip and they don't want to pay any more. But there are things that you can do as a rideshare driver to increase your tips. Things like being polite, driving smoothly, having a clean car. Those are great. In addition to that, load luggage. Load grocery bags, help unload those things. That extra $1 or $2 that you can earn on every single trip in tips works wonders, and it definitely increases your profitability. The thing that I like to do the most, and it's the hardest still for me today, and I've done like 10,000 rides. Ask for a tip. If you worked for a tip and you've earned it, it behooves you to ask for it. And there's ways to do it. You don't just say, hey, give me a tip. That's not the way to do it. The way you earn a tip and you ask for it is this. When the last 2 or 3 minutes on the trip are coming to an end, just tell the passenger, hey, something like, it was lovely meeting you. I really hope you have a safe flight, whatever it is. If you get a chance, please go back into the app and leave me a review and or a tip. I would really appreciate it. That's it. Just be kind about it and be nice about it. What it does is it sparks the people's brains to think, oh, that's right, I should tip. and they're going to go back into the app while they're in the car with you and prompt them to give you a tip. Now, the people that don't want to tip you aren't going to tip you. But the people that wanted to tip you that may forget will remember, and they'll do it right there. That's a great way to help increase your revenue and your profitability. The fifth thing is probably the hardest thing, and then I'll get into the bonus. Have a realistic expectation. The truth is this: we're rideshare drivers. We're not doctors. We're not lawyers. We're not entrepreneurs or anything like that. We're basically just doing a gig. And we can't go back and say in 2020 or 2016 or whatever, I used to make this and now I make this, and be frustrated by that. We have to be realistic about what the gig is. And the truth is this: the passengers and the apps don't want to pay you and me anymore. In fact, they would do it for free. They would totally rip us off. You think about it with you in your life. You don't want to pay a lot for a hamburger, no matter how great that hamburger is, whatever it is. You're going to try to get it for the cheapest possible price. And that's what they're trying to do to you. And right now, the odds, the deck or whatever it is stacked against us as a rideshare driver. The economy is not great. There's more people out there trying to do it. The passengers don't want to tip, but whatever it is, there's a lot of things coming down at you. And it's hard, right? And we should just be realistic. And so I can't go out and think, I used to make $50 an hour in profitability on a Friday night. That doesn't exist anymore, not in my city. So I can't go out and get frustrated that I'm not making what I used to make, because it doesn't exist. I'm realistic. I'm not saying you should accept less than you're worth. If you can make more money doing other things, go do it. But you can't get frustrated about things that are outside of your control. And how much you're earning in this industry across the board is outside of your control. You have to either accept what you're going to earn and do what you can with that, or B, try to do something different. And that leads me to my bonus option solution for the challenges you and me as drivers face today. Have multiple gigs. You don't have to have one. You don't have to just do one. I did that for the longest time. I was Uber X almost exclusive. I did a couple of comfort rides, but for the most part, Uber X and Uber Comfort are the same in my city here in Syracuse. So 1 out of every 100 would be comfort, but I just did Uber X. I wouldn't even do Uber Eats. I wouldn't do delivery. I definitely wouldn't do pets. Today, though, if I want to make more money, I have some other things switched on. I've even tried doing some Uber Pets. Nobody took me up on that, but I had it open. Do Uber Eats. In addition to that, why don't you start trying to do more Lyft rides? And again, that's for me and my own reminder. But I even signed up for Amazon Spark or Walmart Spark. I'm on a waiting list. But I've signed up for those. I signed up for DoorDash and I signed up for Grubhub, and those are full. So I'm on a waiting list. But my point is this: I'm trying to get access to other gigs just in case I need to make the money I need to make. If Uber continues to pay me less and less, it behooves me, it behooves you to do something about it. Take action, take control. Yeah, that's it. So again, as the economy is getting harder and harder, we're getting squeezed and squeezed by the apps, by the passengers. There's more drivers. It can be unsafe. Stop. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's hard. It is super hard. I'm out there every day. Have some realistic expectations. Try to master your profession and know your market as best you possibly can. Find ways to maximize your tips and ultimately have some realistic expectations, because it's gig work, and it's never meant for us to make $250,000 a year. And so while there are the 1 in a million drivers that are doing something amazing, the reality is most of us are struggling in this grind. And I hope that with a good attitude, a solid mindset, you and me can still enjoy it. Because I enjoy it. I prefer to do rideshare over almost anything else. I love to go out and drive. I really do. And it's just getting harder and harder as I make less and less. And doesn't mean we should do it forever. Doesn't mean we have to accept less than we're worth. Find other gigs. Study for college. Whatever you need to do to make more money, do it. But when it comes to this gig, it is what it is. And if we can accept that for what it is, at least mentally, we won't be as stressed as we used to be. I know it's not the best solution. I wish there was some sort of magic way for me to say, here's what you need to do to make $60 an hour. And I know there are certain drivers in certain cities that have that option still, and that's great. I'm cheering for them. That's amazing. I think it's hard sometimes to look at that and go, I wish I could do that, but I can't. I don't have Uber Black in my city, and I can't sit at my house parked and just waiting for perfect rides. I can only take the trips that I'm given when I go into the city and work. It's just hard. So I have a realistic expectation. I'm satiated with what I can make, and I hope you are too. Please be well, be safe. Know that I'm cheering for you. Thank you so much. Bye.